Subscribe to Motoroids for the most in-depth and detailed car and bike reviews. Hit that bell icon and you will be notified before everyone else. Hey guys, welcome to Motoroids.com. This is Amit and behind me right now is the Audi Q7, and you must be wondering why we are reviewing this car after such a long time since its launch. But the fact is that this is the petrol variant and we have done a detailed review of the diesel variant, and you can check that out in the description below. So the link is there. However, in this particular review we'll talk about the new 2-liter petrol TFSI, which by the way has impressed us tremendously with its fantastic smoothness and the kind of acceleration it provides despite being just a 2-liter motor and while hauling such a huge 2-ton plus vehicle. So let's explore the wonders of the Audi Q7 petrol in more detail. Outside on the exterior you would not notice any differences as such. However, this is the technology pack, and up front you will get the matrix LED headlights which are very advanced, and these not just illuminate the road ahead but are smart enough to not dazzle the oncoming traffic. So in that sense it really augments safety. On the side, this one has these really smart looking 19-inch wheels that we really like, shot with Bridgestone Dweller tires. These are primarily on-road tires but can do a very wee bit of soft-roading as well, as this car comes with a permanent all-wheel drive system Quattro with its ground clearance and its lift ability, which can increase its ground clearance on the fly, can provide this car with a decent amount of soft-road capability. So you can take it out in places where a normal car won't go, and this car can go over rather big stones without a whimper. So in that sense, it's a very capable car if you want to go out and explore things. However, this is not a proper off-roader. At the rear, you get this 40 TFSI badging, and 40 in Audi lingo means that this is a reasonably powerful car. This is not as low powered as the 30 TDIs of the world or as powerful as the 50 TFSIs of the world. This is a reasonably powered car, and that is evident by the fact that the 2-liter turbo petrol engine on this car produces 252 HP of power, 370 Nm of torque, and propels this car to 100 kilometers from its standstill in a very quick 6.9 seconds. And the top speed is limited at 233 kilometers per hour. So in that sense, it's a pretty capable car despite having only a 2-liter petrol. This is pretty brisk, and after 3000 RPM you would really feel the car coming alive with a very sporty sound, and you would not believe that you are driving an SUV which is more than 2 tons of weight. The sportiness of the car is also exhibited by these rather sporty mufflers at the rear. Twin mufflers, trapezoidal in shape, chrome tipped, and this satin grey kind of a finish here also adds to the premium appeal of the car. I absolutely love the way the tail lamps look on this car. This one is not as curvy as its predecessor. This is bigger. However, with its angular lines, this looks rather taut, and I quite like the way the Q7 looks and the way it masks its massive size. This one has a lot of space inside, and this one can carry 7 people in comfort. However, when you get behind the wheel of it, you would not realize that you are driving such a big car, such a heavy car. The suspension, the transmission, the way the engine behaves, the way the steering behaves, the way the car wraps itself around you is absolutely amazing. From a comfort perspective especially, if you want to drive a car that is supremely comfortable, very vibration free, very noise free, utterly refined, this is one car that we'll recommend without any second thoughts. So if you want a 7-seater for a family with a premium badge and you want comfort to be on the top of your priority list, there are very few cars that can come close to this one. Alright, so we have seen the car from the outside. However, from the inside, as I mentioned, this is a technology pack and it has a lot of extra features over the Premium Plus variant. To start off, as I mentioned, from the outside, it has the matrix LED system, which is smarter and is controlled by a lot of parameters and is definitely a step up as compared to the standard LED system on the Premium Plus variant. On the inside, however, there are a lot of changes which make this better experience. To start off, you get this Audi virtual cockpit that you don't get on the Premium Plus. So that's one of the biggest features on the technology pack. You also get this park assist which is capable of parallel and perpendicular parking the car all by itself. So this feature is not there on the standard premium pack. Also, the Mmi system here is the Mmi Navigation Plus. This is a step above the Mmi Radio Plus system that you get on the Premium Plus package. In this system you get a lot more features like ambient lighting package, wherein you can light up the interior of the car through some presets on the Mmi. Also, the door sills are lighted, and you also get, as the name Mmi Navigation Plus suggests, you also get navigation. So all of these features are there on the technology pack and not on the Premium Plus pack. You'll also get Bose surround system, which is not there on the standard package. In addition, you'll also get a lot of things like the reverse camera on this one, If you turn to reverse view, you get to choose from a variety of views, including top view, which gives you a 360-degree view of your surroundings. All these special features are not there on your standard package. In addition to this, the Mmi Navigation Plus also gets the Audi smartphone interface, which is not there on the standard version, and this one allows you to integrate your smartphone with the Mmi in a more detailed manner, in a more fluid and a more connected kind of manner. So these are the features that you get on the technology pack, and we'll talk about a lot of other things which make the cabin of this car special. To start off, the steering on this one feels very nice. This is leather wrapped and feels amazing to hold. The controls, as on most Audi cars these days, are very intuitive. I like Audi for the way it has sorted its infotainment system out, and all the features are so easily accessible, so intuitive, and so easy to operate that a lot of other cars these days seem like they have some distance to go before you can get in the car and start using them right at the outset. This trackpad here can feed characters as well as pinch to zoom and scroll, so that's a great feature to have. In addition, you have these numbers that you can use on the trackpad to assign various different functions like a radio station or navigation points where you want to go to. So you have 8 of these to choose from. In addition, you also get character recognition, so obviously you can fill in the navigation or address book with character or using voice as well. So that's a great thing to have. And the drive selector lever, as you can see here, is wrapped in this nice leather. It's inspired by yachts, and it's a very nice place to rest your wrist as well while you're feeding something into the trackpad. So it's very well thought out and very well designed. In addition, you have a 12-volt socket here and some space to spare, although we don't know whether anything is going to fit. However, you have a decent space to put your cell phone or a wallet, an open space where you can easily put your wallet, and there's space for more. Inside the front armrest, you have wireless charging, which is a great feature to have on most cars these days. You also have 2 USB in and aux in, and from a space perspective you can put in a wallet and a mobile, so that's good. Also, you can move the armrest fore and aft based on how you like it, so that's again a great feature to have. And all in all, what you really have to understand is that a lot of cars, they call themselves premium, and when you look at the interior you get a little underwhelmed. The Audi Q7 is at this point in time a template to look at. It's been finished fantastically. You really feel like you're sitting in a very nice, very well appointed car. You look at the materials that have been used, this brushed aluminum with this chrome lining, these grey wood inserts with lacquer coating. Everything is finished perfectly, and the materials, the touch and feel of the materials on the dashboard, on the door panels, you have suede here, and no place within the car feels cheap or built to a price. This feels like a proper rich luxury car, and you can feel the difference the moment you get inside the car. And I think for a luxury car this size, that's a very important thing that the buyers look forward to having. A good thing about the interior is that even the Premium Plus, the lower variant of this car, has a lot of the features that you see here. The quality of the interior is almost the same, and this beautiful integrated, very streamlined AC vents panel, the dashboard, it really looks very nice and adds an air of spaciousness to the cabin, and I really love what I see here. Talking of seats, you also get a fully adjustable driver's and passenger seat with 4-way electronic lumbar support, which is great because most of the cars in premium segment, they skimp on having lumbar support, which is important from a comfort perspective. And the good thing is that this car doesn't skimp on that parameter, and that's going to really help you when you're going for long drives. Now this one gets the Audi virtual cockpit, as I said, which gives you a lot of information, and I'm going to make a different video explaining all the features on the virtual cockpit, and you can see that video in the link above. So do have a look to have a very detailed understanding of how this works. Up front on the Mmi screen, you have this screen that creates some drama by getting in and coming out with the press of a button. And as I mentioned before, it's loaded with features, and you get to choose from a lot of features, talking about all of which is beyond the scope of this review. However, the features here are second to none, and you can explore this. You can choose from the car settings, wherein you can control your steering wheel buttons, the controls for your seats, exterior lighting, the lighting for the car itself, central locking, and the air suspension trailer. What I would really like to mention here is the fact that the 6 modes that come along with this car have a lot of features inbuilt in them, and you'd want to know more about them. So in the lift off-road mode, the car gives you a lot of information, including the steering angle. As you can see, the steering angle is changing right now. It gives you the angle of the recline, the angle of incline if you're going up a ramp, the side tilt angle if you're on a surface which is not flat, and also as you can see, this shows you the ride height, which by the way is increased when you get into this mode to ensure that you go over obstacles without any problem. In the all-road mode, the ride height comes down a little bit, although still it's higher than normal. And as you can see, the bar blinking here, that it's going to come down slightly below the off-road ride height. In comfort mode, again, the ride height would be a little less than what it was in all-road to ensure that you get a very supple kind of ride. And in dynamic mode, it will go down a further notch to ensure that the suspension is very taut and it enhances the dynamic ability of the car. So that's a very nice feature that the Q7 has, and it definitely works. It's not just a gimmick. It helps by either enhancing the comfort by increasing the ride height, or by increasing it further to ride over obstacles, or by decreasing it and making sure that the car handles very well when you're trying to drive enthusiastic around corners. The steering wheel is a little soft, although it's very nice to hold and operate. It's not one of the most feelsome of the units out there. I don't like the fact that it's not heavy enough even when you are in the dynamic mode. However, apart from the weight of it, there is nothing that you want to complain about. It feels very nice, and with these mounted pedal shifters, it's a fantastic unit to operate within the city as well as on the highways and around corners. Now, if you want to buy an SUV, in most cases you'd want it to have a sunroof, and the Q7 does not disappoint on that count. This one has a humongous panoramic sunroof, and it extends all the way behind the second row, so you're not going to be disappointed on that count. Now, one very small thing that a lot of car manufacturers forget is that a lot of times you have to drive early in the morning between 7 to 9, and sometimes in the evening between 3:30 to 6:30, and at that point in time when the sun is rather down, it shines directly on your face, and while a sun visor is a good thing to have, most of the times it doesn't work because the position of the sun keeps changing. So if you take a turn, you cannot constantly be moving the sun visor on the windscreen and on the windows all the time. And secondly, most of the sun visors are not long enough to cover the entire window, and that's one problem that I have personally faced many times. So congratulations to Audi for providing the Q7 with a very comprehensive set of sun visors which cover front as well as side. So the next time when you're driving towards the evening hours, you would not have a problem, and these sun visors are going to cover both the front and the side with this extended flap for the window in a very nice manner. Apart from all the features that I talked about, the quality is also very evident in the way you touch and feel the buttons. They are very well built. There's a very solid feedback from them, and they feel like they're built to last a lifetime. Even the light switches right here, which are touch controlled, are a cut above a lot of other SUVs in the segment, and they're proof of the fact at this point in time the Audi Q7 is ahead of the game in its segment at least. So that was how the state of affairs is up front. Let's get back into the second and third row of seats and see how comfortable or uncomfortable they are. Let's get there. The space in the second row is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, the knee room is absolutely class leading. There is nothing to complain about, and this space here doesn't get much better than this, I can tell you that, especially in the SUVs. You also get this armrest and this pair of cup holders to put your cups in. So the seat is pretty comfortable. Also, you can move the seat fore and aft using these manual levers. So it goes fore and aft quite substantially to make space for the third row passengers, which is quite important for a 7-seater. Now, a very important thing that a lot of people want to know is whether you can actually seat a third person in such big cars. Well, in most of the cars we see that the third row is actually just an armrest, but here you have a proper space for a third person, and there is no issue whatsoever in resting your bum here. However, there is a bit of an issue with the transmission tunnel. It's not as high as you'd find in a lot of other cars, so in that sense this is much better. However, it's still there, but you can rest your legs here if you so want, one of them either ways. So while it's not the best configuration, this space is still usable, and I wouldn't say that this third seat is totally unusable. You can actually go ahead and use it for long drives, and in that sense the Q7 does have an advantage. It actually can seat 3 in comfort in the second row. The space in the door pockets, both at the rear, up front, is ample. You can store big bottles here, so that's not a problem. Also, the rear passengers get reading lights, which is a great thing to have. You have AC vents on the B pillar. You have a coat hook here, and you have another hook here. You also get individual temperature controls for the rear passengers, which means that this is essentially a 4-zone automatic HVAC unit. You can also control the flow of the air, as in whether you want it to be going towards the top or towards the front or towards the rear, and increase the flow. So in that sense, it's quite a comprehensive unit. And you also get these two 12-volt sockets here. In case you want to drop the central seat down and access the rear seats, you just have to press this and the backrest of the central seat will come down. Now in case you want to drop down the third seat while sitting in your own place, you just have to pull this belt loop and the seat will come down all by itself. So it's that easy. Also, you get these top tether hooks. If you want to put something on top and tie it, you have that option. So that's another great utility you have on the back of the seats here. Another great feature that you have is that you can bring up the third row of seats in a powered manner, and that just takes the press of a button. So you don't have to fiddle around with the seats and levers. It's a very convenient way to bring up the seats for the third row. And in case you want to enter the third row, it's pretty simple. You just have to push this and pull the seat up, and it'll make space while assisted hydraulically to make it easier for you. And then you can very conveniently enter the third row of seats. That's how easy it is to get in. However, is there a lot of space inside? Let's bring these seats up and see. So is there enough space here? Well, my knees are complaining. They are rubbing clearly against the back of the second row seats, and I'm not very comfortable. However, if I was a child, maybe 8 to 12 years of age, I wouldn't be in such a bad shape. I have a couple of cup holders on either side to use if I want to, but beyond that I don't see much creature comfort because I don't even have an AC vent for myself. So for very short rides for kids, maybe you can put in people here. However, for adults, this place is not suited. Your knees will be pointing skywards and they'll constantly be rubbing against the back of the second row seats. So while they can be used for very short distances, not very practical for sure. And this is how the egress is. Not the most comfortable, but not the worst either. Now, while those seats are not very practical, once you put them down, you get this enormous space, 770 liters of it, which is by far the largest in its class, and that brings about a lot of space for you to move a house or put in whatever you want, and that space is always useful if you have a family. So from a utility perspective, this definitely helps. Another great feature that the Q7 has is that while you're loading or unloading luggage, you can just press this button and the rear of the car is going to come down by several inches to make sure that you don't have to lift the luggage too high and slide it in. And that really helps when you're putting in heavy objects, and is a great utility to have. Once you're done, you just have to press this button and the rear will go up hydraulically again to its natural position. So that's that. The interior of the Audi Q7 is one of the most luxurious, the most tech-laden, and one of the most friendly and airy that you'd find anywhere. We absolutely love it. It makes you feel special, and it's laden with all the features that really matter. The second row seats are also very comfortable. They can actually seat 3, and if you're looking for a proper 5-seater, then there is no questioning the capability of this one. The third row of seats is usable only for kids and for very small distances. Also, one major downside that this one has is that it doesn't have a spare. However, having taken all of that into consideration, we really love the way this cabin has been built, and we would rather be here than in any other SUV. Now, to start off, what would absolutely amaze you about this engine is its supreme refinement. So much so that when it idles, you would sometimes be fooled to believe that the engine is not running at all, as we were a couple of times. There is absolutely no noise, and that eerie silence inside the cabin is further enhanced by the fact that this cabin has been very well insulated from the road noise, from the wind noise. And even as I'm riding on not so perfect roads, there is absolutely no noise from the road, from the wind. And in that sense, it's a very comforting kind of an experience. If you want to drive, if you want to go for cruises with your family, where comfort is very important to you, the silence in the cabin also plays a very important part, and in that aspect, this car is absolutely phenomenal. You'd not come across many SUVs which are as silent and as refined as this one. So in that context, the petrol has a definitive advantage over the diesel variant. Now, don't be mistaken to think that this car cannot change its sound if you give it the beans. In fact, Given the beans, this car turns into a very sporty sounding kind of a machine, and about 3500 RPM has a very nice muffled sports car kind of a sound to it. And the enthusiasts among you are absolutely going to love it over the diesel, because this one doesn't feel like it's such a heavy car on the move. The steering is slightly devoid of feel, but it's precise and it's very nice to operate. However, the sound from the engine and the way this thing accelerates is absolutely amazing for such a big car, especially with a 2-liter petrol engine. I am astonished with what this car can do with such a small engine while lugging such a heavy weight. So the sound, the performance, and the way it lugs its weight even from low RPMs, it's amazing the way this engine handles this big car, and we absolutely love it. And the transmissions are as smooth as you would expect from an Audi. You can always shift using these paddle shifters right here, which is a great thing, and it's rather quick as well. So a great performer. Around the bends there is a wee bit of body roll to be felt. However, the Quattro AWD really handles the grip very well. The traction from the tires is very good, and if you want to drive it enthusiastically in the dynamic mode, this car is not going to disappoint you, because if you really compare it with the other cars in the segment, in the 7-seater big SUV segment, this car really is right there and handles rather well for such a big beast. From an engine handling, performance, ride quality and comfort perspective, we really think that this car feels perfectly at home in India, and even when you're driving it very fast, this is not going to let you down, especially in the petrol variant. So big thumbs up from us for the Q7 in the petrol, guys. Now another great thing about the Audi Q7 is that you can choose from as many as 6 driving modes, and there are some modes which are self-explanatory, like the comfort mode, which softens the suspension. You have the individual mode where you can customize the settings, including the transmission, the steering, the suspension and all of that as per your taste. You can also choose the dynamic mode, or you can choose the auto mode, which scans the surface and based on your driving style chooses the right steering stiffness, suspension settings and transmission. However, there are 2 extra modes. One is the all-road mode, which essentially is a mode which helps you drive on rough surfaces which have lesser traction, basically a bit of soft-roading. So the torque is delivered to the wheels in a different kind of a manner. The all-wheel drive system juggles the power in a manner where you get the maximum traction and get out of slippery conditions in a more efficient kind of a manner. Also, you get the lift and off-road mode, wherein you can increase the ground clearance of the car by using the air suspension, and that really lends this car great ability to cross over big boulders and obstacles which typically a car with less ground clearance would not be able to clear. However, this off-road mode can be used only at slow speeds, and you cannot do it at faster speeds. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind. So should you be buying this over its rivals or over its diesel variant are the 2 questions that we're going to answer now. So first and foremost, the diesel variant of this car for the technology pack will cost you about 5 lakh rupees extra on the road. So this one is about 95 lakh rupees on the road, and the 3-liter diesel technology pack is going to cost you all of 1 crore rupees on the road. So for the 5 lakh rupees extra, you'll get the diesel, a bit more power, a bit more torque, and a bit more fuel economy as well. However, this one is pretty quick too in terms of performance. Take our word for it. The 2-liter petrol doesn't leave you wanting for acceleration or top speed, and it gives you that additional refinement. So unless you're looking to ride that wave of torque, we can very comfortably recommend this. However, that 5 lakh gap that you have is also something that you can probably benefit from, although in this segment people don't think too much about those sums of money. However, this would save you a decent sum, and the fuel economy is not bad either. Now, talking about its key rivals like the BMW X5, the Mercedes GLS and the XC90, all of them are capable cars. However, from a practicality perspective, from a refinement perspective, and from a usability perspective, especially in the Indian conditions, this one has been very, very well built. It suits our Indian conditions. There is a bit of a problem, however, and that is a lack of a spare in this one. The diesel one comes with a spare. However, even that one, the 7th seat is occupied by the spare wheel there, so that's a bit of an issue. So if you want to be traveling around with 7 people all the time, this one can carry them. However, this one will not come with a spare. That's one thing that doesn't go in its favor. However, if you're going to be traveling with 7 people only occasionally and you want to use it for 5 people, I think this has to be one of the most complete packages on the road, a bit off the road, and in terms of the fuel efficiency, the refinement, the handling, in all the respects, this car aces its competition from an engineering perspective. It gets a big thumbs up from Team Motoroids, and if you're looking to buy a 7-seater with a premium badge, go ahead and buy this one. We really think that this is one of the most accomplished 7-seater premium SUVs out there. On that note, this is Mmi signing off. Hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, And rev hard, rev free, drive safe.